Perfect.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling. What's goody, everybody doing out there? Welcome back to the show. It's time to talk some pro wrestling. Good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my listeners all across the world, wherever you may be at. On this beautiful day, man, here. It's time to talk some pro wrestling, man. We're going to get into it. I got an amazing guest that's joining me back here on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. My guys, you can see Gator Live coming back here on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. Yo, we're going to be chopping it up, having some fun, man. Just WrestleMania was going down this past week. Everything was just off the chain. We're going to dive into everything. But if you're new to the podcast, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I was saying, Gator Live, man, what is going on, my guy?
What is happening, man? How is everything going, dude? Look, it has been a while since I have been able to be on the show, and look, man, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure to be able to kind of grace your audience with my golden, silky tones. You feel me? So, yeah, man, it's been good, man. How's everything been?
Man, everything been dope. Everything been dope, man. I just been, relaxing. I was just like, I haven't heard from my man Gator Live in some time. So I was just like, I'm gonna reach out to him, have him on the podcast, and chop it up with you. But how life been for you, man?
Everything's been good, man. I've been working my butt off as usual. I got like 11 jobs. That's not changed just yet. Although it might be 50-10 now. I done gave up a couple of them. But everything's been good, man. I've just been running, and Dope Discussions with Erica is doing well. And it's actually now Dope Discussions Live, right?
Okay.
So it's not just branded to her, it's branded to us. We are a community. We are trying to make sure that we are putting out all the positivity that we possibly can out here right now, man. And we're doing real good. The numbers are going up as it goes, man. We're hitting relative topics and having fun, man, while we're doing it. Down Five's gonna be jumping back up soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. My co-host, he's taking care of business. He got some things he got going on, man. And, I've been running too. So we just try to find out and square out some time for it, man, so we can sit back and give everybody the shenanigans that they used to getting from us. So, man, it's everything's been good, man. I feel pretty good, I'm trying to grow my facial hair in to kind of make it look, because I can't really grow hair like that, but I'm trying, man. I'm making a concerted effort. So, everything's good. Yep. I saw you froze, Dre, so I don't know.
Okay, cool. If I can get this jump to stop skipping, I can understand what you're saying for a moment.
Oh, it might not be my internet. It might be Dre's having some problems. But hey, look, we're here on the 11:30 podcast, and like I said, I am Gator Beater, baby, and I am here to talk some pro wrestling. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. It has been a weird few months as far as like wrestling goes, man, for me at least, because I haven't even been as engaged as I usually am with work and with all that kind of stuff going on. But I will tell you this. WrestleMania is just the event to get you re-engaged and reignite that passion in you for wrestling. And man, we had a WrestleMania this year that'll definitely reignite some fires.
Yeah, it was, man. I'm trying to get myself situated over here, man. The internet.
I got it, man.
Oh man, but yeah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Yes, like you were just saying, WrestleMania this past year was indeed dope. Indeed dope. To some people, it was stupendous. To some, maybe not. You said you were all into wrestling for the last couple of months, though. Is it something been not catching your eye, or like you just said, you just been having so much
You
things
know,
on
my,
your
my
plate?
plate has been full, and a lot of times you kind of prioritize things by, importance, right? What's the priority? It was, so I've had a lot going on. Now, I've kept up with wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I just haven't had a chance to kind of sit down and get my front row seat in front of the TV to Raw and to SmackDown, and I'm starting to keep up with the AEW storylines and stuff like that. Because you remember at one time I was like, I wasn't even gonna get into AEW like that, but I'm
Yeah.
starting to kind of get into see, just to see what's going on there and see what they have to offer. It doesn't hurt, to see what anybody, any other company or any other alternative has to offer. Um, but yeah, man, that's really been it. Now, like I said, I've been keeping up with the the current events. And to be completely honest, I'll catch the some of the pay-per-views and things that'll be up, but it feels so
Okay.
weird calling them pay-per-views, man, when you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
turn to Peacock and just
Yeah.
watch them. I
Yeah.
remember when pay-per-view was really pay-per-view, like, oh man, mama, yeah, I know it's $49.99, but I'll clean the bathrooms every week for the next 2 months. I just want
Yes.
to see SummerSlam, you
Yes,
know.
yes, yes. I remember that. I remember them times, man, begging my mom, can you order this pay-per-view? Can you order this pay-per-view? And
Yeah.
man, when the network came out, I was definitely excited for that one because woo,
Right.
I was
So
paying $40, $60 on
right.
pay-per-views.
Let me tell you though, when I got to a certain age, and I'm gonna base this, and I'm gonna actually give credit to porn for allowing me the secret to being able to keep up with the wrestling, right? So you
Okay.
know how you go when you're little, you go to the little HBO or one of those channels at night, and they'll have it like blacked out, but you can still see the shapes of the figures, and you can
Yeah,
still hear
yeah,
the noises and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. That's what I used to do with the wrestling pay-per-views. I
Okay.
literally would
Where
turn
the
into that
screen was where
station.
the screen was
Right.
scrambled.
It
Yeah.
was scrambled, but I would sit there and I'd be listening to the wrestling
Yes,
pay-per-views.
yes,
So I was
yes,
still on it, right?
yes.
So I could still tell
Amen.
my friends what happened even if I didn't watch it.
Yes, all day, man. That was me. That was me all day. Every pay per view came on, and the only time it would get clear for me is when sometimes when the pyros go off and when
Yeah.
Kane would come out. So I was like, "Ooh,
Right.
it's like look clear a little bit." So I was like, "Come
Right,
on!"
right.
But man, yes, them was the times right there.
You
That
could
was the
always
times.
see Kane.
Yes, always see Kane, man, for real. Man, speaking of Kane, his brother, the Undertaker, went into the Hall of Fame. Did you catch his speech? Did you
Man,
enjoy it?
so
Because
I caught the speech, and I'm gonna tell you something. I was a little at first. I was like, it's a little slow, and I think he was a little nervous almost at first. And it's weird to
yeah,
see the Undertaker
yes,
nervous, right? But
yes,
as it went on, man, I found myself getting more and more engaged into it, man. I mean, to be completely honest, one of the best to ever do it, man. One of the best to ever lace up the boots, and he gave one of the best, like, speeches for Hall of Fame that I could ever say that I witnessed, man. It was amazing. The call outs that he had during that, man. And I love the picture you have up right now, man, because he had all of the different Undertaker outfits out there. And
hmm
he was literally giving like heartfelt, like, verbiage to some of these people out there in the crowd, man, that he was looking at, man. I almost teared up, man, when he started talking about Yokozuna and how they
hmm
hit the roads, man. And he talked about BSK and the Godfather, and a lot of people
yes,
didn't realize that him and the Godfather were that close, man. But they were,
yes,
all BSK, peas in the pie. We know about the click, but they were the real click backstage. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Like you didn't want to mess with BSK.
Nah, you didn't. You didn't. And this whole speech was really, really, really cool because, like you said, we never see the Undertaker coming out there and just talking for a good 30 minutes or so. Out of character. He mentioned some of the wonderful people that he worked with: Shawn Michaels, Triple H, like you said, The Godfather. Mankind was another one. I think a couple of people were upset that he didn't mention Mick Foley, but man, I thought this was awesome. It was a little TED talk, if you ask me, though.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like a little bit of a TED talk, and I get it. I get some people being upset that he didn't mention mankind, and but you got to understand he didn't mention a lot of people, right? And even though we look at that Hell in a Cell match as being an iconic match, you got to remember who was it more iconic for. We
Yes,
remember
and
Mick
that's
Foley for that
mm,
match. We
yes.
don't necessarily remember Undertaker as much as we remember Mick Foley falling from the tables and falling through the ring. So
Hmm.
I get it. For Undertaker, he mentioned people that were basically they were getting themselves over. They were like giving each other heat and giving each other, the best match they could have. The one with Shawn Michaels, man. And, people will debate this for years, man. Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 or Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. I will go with um, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. I
Okay.
I just think that for sports entertainment, that is definitely the match that you want to look at to say, hey, this is sports entertainment. I mean, the Steamboat Savage match at WrestleMania 3, great wrestling. But for sports entertainment, it's that one, man, because there were the theatrics, there was all kinds of, I will never forget, and I believe this was 25. It was either 25 or 26, but I think it was 25. The imagery behind it, right? You
Hmm.
see Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels descending from the, from the sky in the white, duster and everything. And then you see the
Hmm.
Undertaker coming up from the ground. It was just, man, everything about it was just enthralling, man. The entrances, even after the match, was just amazing.
Yeah.
So I always say that was the clinic right there, and I love the fact that he shot out Triple H because that was essentially a 4-year program
Yeah, it
that they
was.
did, man, and to have those types of dance partners, a Triple H, a HBK, and an Undertaker, and have them all there. And I mean, it really truly was an end of an era. And he mentioned that in his speech because they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And when I say that, people might be like, well, what do you mean they don't do that anymore? We got some great wrestlers out there. We have, Daniel Bryan. We have, they don't do what they did anymore. That
Hmm.
building, that consistent, like this, that people forget. Right now, we hot shot WrestleMania storylines, right? We don't really get into WrestleMania storylines until like January.
Hmm.
That storyline started building in like August of that prior year and
Yes.
kind of built out to that.
Hmm.
So man,
I know exactly what you're talking about,
yeah,
man. For real. Like I was just
it give me
watching.
goosebumps thinking about it because there's a true culmination of something major that was going on. I almost think that if I didn't know any better, I almost feel like the Kevin Owens Stone Cold Steve Austin thing was kind of similar because when Owens started kind of using the stunner, I immediately thought, oh, he's doing that to kind of get under Steve Austin's skin. But they
Hmm.
never mentioned it again, and then it
Yeah.
kind of bubbled up a little bit later. But yeah, man, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you right, man. You right. Because the other night I was watching is WWE. They got a show on Peacock called WWE Original, and I was watching the
Yeah,
episode. I think it was episode 5 with Stephanie McMahon, and talking about how she's a bad guy and stuff like that. And I
hmm
was just getting goosebumps, man. And I'm just like, wow, man. Them days was it. They don't
hmm
do the stuff and tell stories like they usually do now, and it's totally different. It's totally different,
yeah,
and with the Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame, that's totally dope. But what you was
yeah.
mentioning about Kevin Owens and Stone Cold at WrestleMania, I thought it was. I said it numerous of times though on the podcast that a lot of people was like, "Yo, man, he just gonna come up and he just gonna have a." He not gonna wrestle. He just gonna give him a stunner, X, Y, Z. A lot of people
Right,
just was playing it off, but I'm just like, man, look here, I don't know, but I also know that Stone Cold said numerous of times, like, "Yo, man, if I'm coming out of retirement, it's gonna be something worthy." And no
right.
disrespect to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, my homie, I like him, but I didn't think that was worthy. I didn't even think the build-up was worthy. But I already knew he was gonna leave. Like, did you think
hmm
he was worthy enough to come out of sort of retirement and but I mean, he gave us what, 15-minute match. I called it. I loved it though, but you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I loved it, man. I mean, so here's the thing with this one, right? So I love Kevin Owens, man. He's one of my favorites. I mean, of any generation. Um, it's hard to build a program when it's just one person building the program
Mm.
because you don't have anybody to bounce promos off of back and forth. You don't have all that. It was a similar scenario with Seth Rollins this year, where he's building a program literally by himself going into WrestleMania. So you don't know what's about to happen. With Kevin Owens, he's building the promo by himself because you hear stuff about Steve Austin possibly being on top, but they didn't have that classic back and forth, until I think right before WrestleMania, and that wasn't a back and forth; it was literally just an answer. So
Yeah.
it made everybody think, okay, well, he's not going to wrestle. He's literally just going to come out because initially they said he was going to be wrestling, then they downgraded that to, oh, he's just going to make an appearance. I thought basically maybe he didn't get cleared, and they were going to just have just him kick him, stun him, and send the crowd home happy for that segment. When they rung the bell, I was like, oh, they're going to wrestle, you know. And to be honest, it seemed like initially Austin was kind of like tentative with it. And then I heard somebody else say this, so I don't want to give credit to myself for saying it, but I noticed it when it happened. The more beer he drunk, the better he got, right? So
Yeah,
I think
that
what
is
it did was
something.
it started loosening him up a little bit. He's like, oh, okay, I'm not, I'm good. I ain't gonna make no mistake. This is like old times,
Hell
you know.
yeah.
And I mean, he got better. And by the end of the match, I was like, oh, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin unleashing a can of whoop ass in here.
Yo, I did not think of that. I really did not think of that. But I know this. I noticed in the beginning of the match when he had Kevin Owens in the corner and he was sort of like stuffing the mud hole in his ass, but he was doing it slow. So I
He
was
was
like,
doing it slow.
yeah, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Is he trying to like catch his breath? But then, when the match went on, as you say, when he after one bit, another bit, he just started getting into a groove with it. I was just like, okay, this is it, man. This is it. So I really enjoyed it though. I mean, I was hoping maybe this last match could have been with someone else, but hey, look at it. It's great for Kevin Owens
Yeah,
because that's his idol that he always wanted to work with. And like you said, that build up was one sided because it reminded me of, I said this before, um, where Shawn Michaels was in the middle of the ring back in '05, and he teased the crowd of Bret Hart coming back. And
yeah,
they were just so mad at him. But man, I think that would have been even more like they would have been even more pissed off at Kevin Owens if that show was in Dallas instead of Chicago. But yeah,
yeah.
he played everybody though. He really did.
Like speaking of Chicago, man, I really believe that Kevin Owens re-signed that deal because they threw that offer.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
I say Chicago because you remember before Punk left, or when they were talking about possibly bringing him back when he did the Fox show,
Yeah.
they were throwing out those teasers of a Stone Cold versus Punk match, and maybe they threw that on the
Yes, they
table with
would.
him too. I don't think. I mean, he didn't bite, of course, but it would have been interesting to see a Punk versus
Yeah.
Stone Cold match. But I think I like the Kevin
Yeah.
Owens thought better because he may not be the
Mhm.
elevated opponent that Punk is, but you can't deny the personality and the fit
Yeah.
in the ring for those two.
Yeah, you can't deny that. You can't deny that at all. Yeah, they was hitting for a while that old CM Punk and Austin, but that fell flat, never happened. And everything with Kevin Owens, man. Look at it. It's dope. It really
Yeah,
is,
man. I
man.
so I the one question I have for Kevin Owens though coming out of WrestleMania is, and we did see his whole exchange with Ezekiel, which by the way, man, his dad must have some powerful genes, man, because he looks exactly like his big brother, man. I was like, man, he looks exactly like Elias. Man, I would love to see their dad because their dad is potent, man. He's got some strong genes, man. But
Yeah,
yeah, man, I
Ezekiel.
wonder. Yeah, but I wonder what's going to happen with him coming out of this. Coming out of it because he's got this. I hope that he doesn't feud with Ezekiel. You know,
Well,
it's
like you said, when Kevin Owens resigned, I think this was definitely on the deal
Yeah,
because a lot of people was like, "Yo, man, why did he resign?" And everything he was doing leading up to Mania or prior to Mania or the Royal Rumble, he wasn't doing much. He was losing and he was sort of
yeah,
on SmackDown, but this is really dope, though. But then on Monday night, we see Elias's brother,
yeah,
Ezekiel. He comes
yeah.
out and I think, man, I was just having this conversation with Commission the other day, and they just saying Elias is he's completely done. He can't make this work or whatever though. Yeah, he's gonna probably get into a program with him because Stone Cold is not going to be on Raw or whatever though. But what you think about Elias's brother Ezekiel?
Oh, by the way, now I will say before I get into the whole Ezekiel scenario, Kevin Owens did have a dark match with Cody
Yes,
Rhodes
yes, he did.
after
Yeah.
Raw,
Mm-hmm.
so it would make sense for them to throw him into Cody Rhodes feud right now. I mean, it keeps heat on both of them.
Or
I like it a lot, and I mean that could be he could bounce. I like the fact that Kevin Owens has some actual skin in the game with him being good friends with the Young Bucks, and they're already kind of teasing this kind of like shoot animosity between
mm-hmm.
him and Cody. So I could
Yeah.
see that.
I, I think it's gonna be somewhere but like a triple threat because I noticed before WrestleMania, Kevin Owens was excuse me, Seth Rollins. Well, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, best
Yeah,
buddies, and they were trying to
yeah,
go out for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and either Kevin Owens was trying to take Seth was trying to take Kevin Owens' opportunity or whatnot, but
yeah, yeah.
we started Raw. Cody Rhodes and Seth, they shook hands. In Raw, like you said, Cody and Kevin Owens, they went one-on-one, so we can see who can try to get the upper hand because obviously Cody wants the championship,
Right.
and we will see if Seth and Kevin Owens fight over it.
I'm gonna put a pin on the championship thing because I have to ask you, and I'm coming back to Ezekiel. Trust me, but
Okay,
I
take your
gotta
time.
ask you. I gotta ask you. You saw that the rumored new belt design for the unified title.
No, I have not.
So apparently it's the same design, but the face is gold.
Okay.
The whole belt is gold. It's just black and gold. No other colors. It's just black and gold. And it's
No.
all gold. The background and everything that used to be black, it used to be red and blue. It's all gold.
Okay.
It looks
Okay.
amazing.
Okay, yeah, I think I seen a rumor belt out there
Yeah,
that was like black and gold, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. But with Roman Reigns, we're gonna see on SmackDown. But Roman Reigns, they look like he had a shoulder injury, so it looked like
man.
what they
Did you
probably
see
going.
that knot?
Yeah, and I was
Ugh.
like, man, this don't look real good. But most likely what they're gonna do, which I feel like they're gonna have him chill until
Yeah.
WrestleMania Backlash, and he's gonna take on whoever wins this match, that match to take on him, and then he's probably gonna chill for another month or two until SummerSlam, and then hopefully that's when we get The Rock coming out there to challenge him for WrestleMania Hollywood. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, I like that thought. I really like the thought of the now.
Because we were supposed to get it this past year, but
We're
obviously
supposed to
it
get it
didn't.
this year, right? So it makes me wonder: do you start? You have to start building that at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. This is one of those where you can't start building it at Royal Rumble,
No.
right? You have to literally start building it at SummerSlam. Maybe have Rock come out as an entrant in the Royal Rumble. He wins the Rumble, and now he's fighting, Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that's the perfect way to go
Yeah,
with it.
I think a lot of people will feel that way, but I think me personally, I would leave him. I would leave him out of the Rumble because he don't need to win it. But WWE
He
has this
doesn't.
thing.
No.
Yeah, WWE has this thing where if he does win it, hey, look, hey, that's dope because they had a lot of old school guys come back and win it, and which is perfect. But
Oh yeah.
Roman Reigns could have this thing where he's in God mode, obviously, and he just
Right.
be like,
I
man,
got to get that shirt.
yeah, me too. He's in God mode. Nobody can touch me. Like, forget everybody else. Like, and here comes The Rock, his cousin. So Like, come on, see me 1-on-1. I ain't gotta win a Rumble. You gonna give me a matchup, and
Right.
obviously, I think that's the matchup really Roman Reigns is waiting for. Um,
Exactly, man.
yeah.
Now, here's the question: does he drop the title in that? I
Oh no, no, no.
you can't have him drop the title.
See, I would have. See, me personally, I said this numerous of times. I never seen a Money in the Bank contract holder hold the briefcase almost to the exact 1 year. I thought
Yeah,
Big E would have been a great. I think I said this too. But Big E would have been great. Big E would have been a great guy. How
yeah,
they when they had in the Thunderdome and they mentioned when they had Talking Smack, and Paul Heyman
yeah.
was on there every week, and it seemed like every person he encountered, whether it was Apollo Crews, whether it was Sami Zayn, whether it was Big E, he seems to kind of like give them a little boost. In the next week or
Right, right,
two,
right.
they was doing something good on SmackDown, and Biggie said it, like, man, at Mania, I'm going to be taking on you. And I thought it would have been great if Big E would have just held on to the title or on the briefcase and cashed in on Roman. Like, I
Yeah,
think if Roman loses the belt, it needs to be to someone who still can go for the next 5 to 10 years. It don't need to
yeah,
be Brock Lesnar. It don't need to be anybody because,
yeah.
in the next
I
two,
agree.
3, 4 years, Roman is out of there. So,
I
yeah, but
agree. I It's got to be. They're setting it up for Cody, and I think they're gonna have to send Cody. They're gonna literally have to wipe the AEW off him first. So they're gonna send him out there with Kevin Owens. They're gonna kind of what they did with AJ Styles, where they wiped the impact off of him. And once they got him in enough feuds to distance him from everything he was doing in Impact, then okay, bam, here you go. Now you're main eventing. They're gonna do the same thing with Cody Rhodes. I think they're gonna put him through that feud with Kevin Owens, probably Seth Rollins. He's probably gonna have a couple other people on the way up, to the top there, and then they'll. It'd be interesting. I'd love to see him take
right.
the title at the SummerSlam. Like
Hmm.
maybe The Rock loses to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year, and then SummerSlam is Cody, and Cody takes
Yeah.
the title at SummerSlam. I would
Yeah.
love to see it.
I
Um,
good.
yeah, I want to jump back to. I don't want to make it seem like I don't want to give him any respect. Um,
Okay.
Ezekiel is I mean, amazing physique. I'm not so sure about the tights color, but okay. He gives me some good Macho Man vibes, and if he was to grow like a beard out like his brother has, like he would really be looking like some Macho Man scenario right there, man. Um, I'm interested to see what he could do. His brother's not a bad wrestler, so we'll see.
Okay. I don't know. I really don't. I was just saying, can Elias make this work? They always say, man, if they give you a character, go with it, make the best of it. But I mean, he went from playing the guitar to now coming out on Monday Night Raw talking about I'm Elias's brother. So hey, we'll see how it
Right,
goes. We'll see
right.
how
I
it
mean,
goes. Bro.
yeah. In all honesty, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do. He
Yeah.
there's so much
Because I think he's gonna.
history with that character.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna play. I think he's gonna play it smoothly. You
Yeah,
seen Nutty Professor. You seen all these big type of comedian actors who got multiple different characters. And such.
yeah,
So I feel like he's gonna come back to Elias, but he gonna play Ezekiel for now. He gonna
right. The
so
thing I'm scared about, I don't want him to end up in a Damian Sandow type scenario. You know,
yeah.
where he's just kind of a play on himself.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the whole joke is that he's really Elias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that becomes his gimmick. I would love to see him actually be taken seriously because, to be honest, Elias is a damn good wrestler. He's damn good
Yeah.
in the ring. He's damn good at getting heat. I think the guitar gimmick just kind of played out a little bit, and sometimes you can gimmick yourself into a niche, right? Sometimes you can, and this is what happened with Stardust and with Goldust. Sometimes you can gimmick yourself to a point to where you can't elevate because you're going to literally be that comedy act, or you're going to be that risque act, but you're not going to be somebody that people are going to take seriously as a contender for the world title. And I think that's what happened with Elias. I would love to see him have that Intercontinental belt. I would have loved to see the feud between him and Rick Boogs. That would have been
Yeah, I
that would
know,
have been
right?
nice.
Yeah, that
Let
would.
that continue.
Yeah, that would have been nice, man. That would have been nice. But what was your thoughts initially when you found out Cody Rhodes was coming back to WWE after everything he's
Mm.
been through with the last 2 years, building up AEW and going up against WWE and all that stuff. But what you think? What was your thoughts?
I mean, when he was talking all that stuff before, to quote the Undertaker, "Never say never," right?
Mhm.
He, when the right money comes in, it's time to really start evaluating. Hey, do I want to? What is wrestling anyway? Like, it's work. So I really do think that he was eventually going to come back anyway. Um, so much of his legacy, pun not intended, but pun intended, is in the WWE, man. Um,
Yeah.
and I think just having him back just feels right. Feels it still is weird to kind of see him back, but it feels like this is where he needs to be. I just hope that he doesn't allow himself, and I don't think he will. I just hope he doesn't allow himself to fall on the card.
Okay.
I hope that he realizes that he needs to remain in these main event matches, and that he's not going to let them throw him into well, this is only a temporary tag team feud with blah 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 blah. No, no, that's how you got trapped last time. Just stick to your laurels. He said he can't wait for the first rider he can argue with about the direction, and I like that. I like that attitude.
Hmm.
And I really do think he's not the last one coming back, because I got a feeling that Jericho's coming back too.
Yeah, Jericho is going to end his career in WWE, so he
Yeah,
can go
yeah,
into the Hall of Fame in the next two and a half years. MJF is definitely coming over.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't know, I don't know. Some people said Cody Rhodes is opening up the door for maybe some people, to come
yeah.
back. 'Cause like you said, never say never, never say never.
Right. Speaking on MJF, I am nervous about MJF coming over, right? Because in my opinion, if you took Chris Jericho and rolled him up with EC3, you get MJF. And my thought process on that is MJF going to be able to be taken seriously enough to elevate him into I don't need a better dressed Chad Gable.
Mm.
And I feel like they would look at him like that. He's got a great promo, but
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing though. So I mean, like I get what you're saying. EC3, Chris Jericho balled up in the one, or you got a Chad Gable in the suits though, but then you got his promo game though. So
yeah,
how do you
it's
how you
it's
go with
it's,
that?
it's rough, man. So here's a question. Who do you think has a better promo, LA Knight or MJF?
MJF though. But I gotta give all respects to LA Knight because LA Knight was on this show some years ago, back in 2013, with The Rock, and I think he learned a lot on that show from The
Hmm.
Rock. Because every time I watch LA Knight, he just oozes that charisma, and I can tell like he's been studying, The Rock stuff or Stone Cold stuff. It's just like he got it, and he gonna be a star. That's if
Right.
WWE give him a chance, and he can excel at it. But
Hmm.
MJF is he's just a natural heel though.
Yeah, he
He's just
is.
he's a natural heel. He can play that I don't give a fuck. I'm a bad guy. You suck. You're mid. Type of. So he's great for a guy like a LA Knight. You feel me? Because LA
Right.
Knight could be the top baby face. He could, he got the LA Knight thing and everything. So they can match greatly. But on the mic, I gotta give it to MJF. But as
Yeah.
far as charisma goes, LA Knight.
Right. I left one part out. MJF is like less corny Miz. Right? And I love Miz. Miz is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, bro. But he's like less corny Miz. And it makes me wonder if you put. So I think this goes sound crazy. I think the money is in LA Knight. If I was to sit back and say, okay, who's got the better promo? I think the crowd would be more engaged in LA Knight. It's something about Eli Drake and the way he, you know what I'm saying? He speaks and the way he puts things out there, That being said, MJF is a great promo. I mean, Jericho was a great promo. Miz is a great promo. He's a natural heel. I just hope that he could get over in that environment. Part of me says he could, but then there's another part of me that's like, is he, like I said, is he just, a better Miz? Like, are they like you've got that guy on your roster right now? So I want MJF to come over to WWE. Don't get me wrong. I want to see that. I just don't know if it's. I don't know, man.
I feel you. I don't know. Like you said, you got multiple guys over there, and it's all about standing out because there's a lot of guys that do look alike, and you got to stand out. But definitely, if he does come over, when he does, the Miz is definitely one of the first persons. Obviously, he will work with though, or the last. Who knows? Because he's a heel. Miz is the ultimate heel, and so yeah.
Right.
That.
Speaking of Miz, it seems like they give him. I think the company feels safe with him, right?
Yeah,
they know he's going to take care of, the people that come in that they bring in for like these little one shots and things like that. I mean, the Bad Bunny scenario, for example, and stuff like that. I was impressed with the way that the whole Logan Paul scenario went down.
Oh yeah.
Right. Just to and by the way, I am not a Dominic Mysterio fan, so let me put that out of the way first. Man, Logan Paul's not bad in that ring, man. But he and his brother are just naturally athletic people. So you put something like this in front of them, and they work hard. Like they work their asses off. And matter of fact, Logan got a shout out from The Rock about that this week. Like, man, I appreciate you working your ass off, brother, because they literally put in them hours to do it, right? I like. Speaking of natural heels with MJF, Logan Paul's just a natural heel. His expressions, his movement, even his body built, his frame, because Logan's a big dude. He's not like a small guy. So just all of that stuff, man, it just exudes heel.
Yeah.
I literally popped, bro, when he did the Three Amigos, but then he goes to the top rope for the frog splash, and he gives the little Eddie Guerrero like just enough to play to the crowd, and it got nuclear boos. And then he jumps from the top rope and executes a perfect frog splash. Like you can't write a better heel. So I was definitely impressed with that, man. Less impressed with Dominic Mysterio. Why is Dominic on the main roster? Is it just because of Ray that he's on the main roster? I don't get it. He's not ready for main roster.
Dominic, Dominic is don't seem half as ready than Hook does. Now I like Hook, Taz's son Hook. Now he's good. A lot of people got their feelings on him, but as far as Dominic, yeah, he's a little. And I think the only reason why you can clearly see he's not ready, but I think Rey Mysterio is going to he's sort of half foot in, half foot out, and why he still got that half foot in, he want to have his son with him to
Right.
teach him the ropes. If anybody gonna teach him, he wanted to be Ray. You feel me? Because a lot
True.
of fathers had that feeling when they say, "Yo, man, I'm gonna be a wrestler." We seen it with The Rock as Young Rock show he got going on, where
Yeah.
he said to Dad, "Yeah, I'm gonna be a wrestler. I'm gonna try it out," and he was like, "No." You feel me? Randy Orton father was the same way. It was a lot of them because they know the business and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
so if it's gonna be anybody, it's gonna be Ray. But definitely, I don't think he's ready just yet, though.
Yeah. Now I remember the last time I was on this show, I shot a thought out about having Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo and Dominic Mysterio as like a almost like a new type of 3 count type of like Hispanic stable, right?
Mm,
They did do Angel Garza and Roberto Carrillo. They did
yeah.
put them together. They're just missing Dominic now. You know, hey, let your dad go and do his thing, do his reward tour, and you go chill with them and learn some stuff from them, man. Because the one thing I can say about Humberto Carrillo, he's really good in the ring. Angel too, man. Angel's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them on TV. Maybe that'll give them something to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully they get in the tag team division and stop fighting for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought that was pretty weird last Friday. I was like, man, they tag
Yeah,
teams, right? I mean, we'd love to see them wrestle. Obviously, they fought before they put them as a tag team, but yeah, I would
right.
love to see them as a tag team and SmackDown build up a tag team division and stop having the
I would
Usos
hope
just
so.
face the Viking Raiders. But other than that,
Right.
hey, hey, man. I look at WrestleMania. We had Pat McAfee take over night two, man. Woo,
Ooh,
like
speaking of naturals. Speaking of
man,
naturals.
man. He was born for this. Obviously, he played
Oh yeah.
football, and that didn't go so far. And every week on SmackDown, he's the life of the party. And when the match was happening, I was like, man, he's rubbing off on Michael Cole that hard, where you can see in the back of in back, you can see Michael Cole standing up. He's like, come on, Pat. You're like so
Yeah.
excited. I'm like, man, okay, but yeah, Pat McAfee, man, killed. What was
Man,
your
Pat
thoughts on
McAfee's amazing, man. When he had his matches with Adam Cole in NXT, I was super impressed. This just furthered that impression. You got to remember, Pat McAfee came from the football world. He was actually a world class punter. He's like, I don't know if he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he's already in the Indianapolis Colts Hall of Fame as a punter. Like he was one of the best there was, man. And then he gets into wrestling. It's his attitude, it's his personality. He's got a freshness to him, right? And I I know he's a commentator, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him in the ring more often, man. Because one of the things I will say about Pat McAfee is that, and we saw the face side of him, right?
it? Mhm.
One of the best things about Pat McAfee is he's a natural freaking heel too. So I would love to see him in some programs on SmackDown. And hey, he could definitely go a Jim Ross route and be a manager.
Yeah,
Like maybe like a heel man, like a heel stable. He's on commentary, almost like a Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's on commentary, and he's a heel manager. And then hey, for the special events, he'll even get in the ring. You know, I like that idea, but yeah, Pat McAfee's a natural, man. Austin Theory is one of those people that I eyed a few years back, and I said he's gonna be something, but what is it that he's going to be? And right now, I think him being kind of under the tutelage of Mr. McMahon and all that kind of stuff is interesting, but I see him as being like a ultimate babyface one day. It's just we have to get to that point. We got to go around the way to get him to that babyface stance. But
yeah,
he's gonna be good, man. He's got the physique, he's got the look, he's got the personality. Um, It's just as a heel, he's kind of bland and kind of dry.
Yeah,
Him
that's what a lot.
doing the old Tyler Breeze thing where he's taking selfies all the time. I can't. I'm not trying to. I'm not here for it.
Hey man, I forgot all about Tyler Breeze, man. But man, well, I haven't heard the name in a while. I ain't really forget about him though. But yeah, man, a lot of people say Austin Theory is gonna be the guy. People will say he's gonna be one of the next top guys, future
Oh
champions.
yeah.
Yeah, just right now with the whole thing he's doing is real corny. I was hoping to take it to a next level. But the fact that he's with Mr. McMahon, and you look at I hope the last person I seen sort of that Miss McMahon had their back was Drew McIntyre.
Right, and that gives me that
Yeah, it gives me that little, maybe he ain't ready. He's young.
Right.
Maybe he's gonna get fired. Maybe he's gonna come back in the next 5 to 10 years and he's gonna blow up. But who knows? But I think right now what he's doing is a little, okay, all right, yeah, okay. He's playing the heel. People want to see him get his ass whipped. So hey, look at it. He got a lot. He got a long way to go. Long way to go. So
right, but it's one of the things like Drew. They see money in him. I mean, it's not hard to see money in him. And like Drew had to kind of go that round way to become a face. And to be honest, Drew was never really a face when he was at WWE. It wasn't until he left and came back that he, he's a face. He's got that face run in him. Hopefully Theory doesn't have to leave and come back. But I think that this is just a kind of a roundabout way to giving him relevance while they figure out what to do with him, like how to make him a superstar. He looks the part. You can give him to McMahon and have him be his protege. That's just to get him on TV. Maybe something will stick. Maybe something will catch. Mm-hmm. But I think right now he's a good hand. He's gonna be great, but they got to figure out what to do with him, because after this feud, what do you do? The most infuriating part of the match was having Vince McMahon come in and beat Pat McAfee afterward, because you credit to Pat McAfee for selling.
Yeah, credit to him.
Because he sold very well. Because that stuff McMahon was throwing looked weak as hell.
It sure did.
But McAfee was bumping like Dolph Ziggler. Like he was taking the bumps, man. But I don't think it did anything for McAfee, and I don't think it did anything for Austin Theory to have McMahon come in and beat Pat McAfee. Even though there was some interference and all that kind of stuff, I don't think it did anything for him. If anything, have McMahon interfere and have Austin Theory win.
Yeah. Hey, it was yeah, it was pretty dope, man. All the athleticism, Pat McAfee, that ain't gonna be his last WrestleMania match or moment. So
no.
Oh man, but yeah, Mr. McMahon, I was just like, man, he just had to wrestle though. Pat McAfee, basically, look as a kid growing up and watching WWE, he got a WrestleMania match, he got a WrestleMania moment, and he wrestled Mr. McMahon at a WrestleMania. So he's going to talk about that on his podcast. So that's just, it's bigger than just, So hey, look at it, man. That was dope, man. WrestleMania was dope. One more thing on WrestleMania: Bianca Belair back-to-back winning championships. Last year, she won the SmackDown Championship. This year, she won the Raw Women's Championship, beating big-time Bex. Man, I love it. This year, she seemed more confident. She seemed like, this is my year, and I'm taking over. You feel like that with Bianca? You feel like the sky's the limit for her?
First thing, I gotta say, I almost did not want Bianca to win that match. Okay. I know that sounds blasphemy, especially around other black people. But the reason why is because I saw Becky Lynch come down to the ring, right?
Oh man.
When she got out of the truck and she's coming down, she's got the new look and everything, that Posh Spice look going. And I was like, I like this Becky. I
Yeah.
like this is the I'd have been around the bend. Now I'm conceited Becky. Big time Bex. I was like, I like this. This is some shenanigans that I can deal with. You know? I love Bianca. I she never to me seems like she's comfortable on the mic, right? Like even when she's speaking and she's on a roll and all this, she's almost like two words from a voice break. Like she
I can
doesn't quite have that confidence on the mic. In the ring, however, she's there. She is
yeah.
there. And not only there, she's one of the better women in the ring that WWE has. And the fans love her. They eat it up. They eat
Yeah.
it up, man. I think it was a good match. Um, I saw she took that legit eye injury.
Yeah. Man, that was
Um,
whew.
man, but that's what you do when you're out there,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, I'm glad to see her with the belt. There's just a part of me that just wishes that Becky could keep that belt. I wish you could have started playing this big time Bex thing 3 weeks ago just so I could see a little bit more of it, right? Just a little bit more of her with the title and the posh spice look and I would have liked to see that. But I love the big time Bex gimmick. I really do, and I like Bianca's gimmick too right now, man. Like I said, my only fear with her is that she's got to get better in that promo. It just doesn't seem natural for some reason. And this might be just me overthinking it, but it just seems a little unnatural sometimes. Like
Yeah.
she's still nervous.
Yeah,
It'll get
that's
there.
what. Yeah, that's what I always say. Even this past week on Monday, I was like, is it because she's champion? I think she's better at chasing the champion than being
Yeah,
the champion.
yeah,
And I said that on Raw, and I was like you said, it was just like she's just thinking about what she's gonna say next, or it's just like, but I don't know, man. I wish Bianca the best though, but maybe it seems like it's gonna be a thing like with how Roman he just fell in the groove, and maybe it might be
yeah.
like that for Bianca. Just going maybe take
It
some
might
time.
be.
Yeah,
It might be. I think she is a better chaser. I think
yeah,
she is a better chaser. And Becky, I feel like is just the person to chase. Like I said, I feel, if it seems like I'm enthralled with this big time Bex gimmick that she pulled at WrestleMania, the interest and everything, man, I am.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah, man. Speaking of amazing, WrestleMania indeed was amazing, you guys. But we're gonna move on here before we roll on out of here and talk pro wrestling. The other night, Wednesday night, AEW put on a dope show though. But I seen one of your favorite superstars return. He actually returned to wrestling last Friday night at the Ring of Honor Supercard event. Samoa
Yeah.
Joe is back and he has qualified for the Owen Hart tournament, beating Max Caster, which I love every time he come out with them slick words he always got to say. But nonetheless, Joe is back and he's in AEW, man. You think he's going to stay healthy and make a cool run? Because I hope he is, man.
So I'm scared for that. I think AEW is a better conducive environment for staying healthy because they're not doing a whole lot of road shows right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I think it's a better environment to try to stay healthy with. NXT was too, to be honest. The one thing that I'm a little afraid of is that the reins are loose on AEW, man. You're not gonna be as protected, and if you say something like, "Oh, I want to jump off the top of a scaffold and do a leg drop after a 450 reverse," okay, cool. In WWE, they'd be like, "Are you kidding me? No, you're not about to do that. You're gonna get hurt." So with those chains being taken, like I don't like seeing Sting wrestle anymore because I'm like, who's telling him he can do this? Who is telling him he's gonna, So I'm a little nervous about him getting hurt, but I love to see Joe in action. So hey man, I just keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best with him, man.
Hey, man, look at me too, man. Me too. With Sting, yeah, every time you get in the ring, most likely they put him in like 6-man, 8-man tag team matches,
Yeah,
though. But
they do.
they get the guy's like what 60 something years old, and the last pay per view or big televised show they had, he was jumping off some type of balcony in an arena, and I'm like, yo,
Right,
man,
like, bro, what are you doing?
but hey, look at I don't know. I don't know who's juicing him up backstage. So like, man, you got it, man. But look at long as he staying safe and I guess beside staying beside Darby's side and staying young, I guess that's helping him though. But
Yeah, I think so. I think
hey,
so.
that's that,
Um,
man.
oh wait, I gotta jump back to WrestleMania for one quick thing because we did talk
Okay,
about awesome entrances. A lot of people don't know this. My favorite entrance of all time is Edge with the Metalingus intro. I mean, all the way with the pyro and all that stuff. So when he changed his music, they said he was gonna have a music change. I was like, oh, I don't know. I have been listening to this song nonstop for the last like 2 weeks, right?
I love it.
Man, when you talk about an awesome WrestleMania entrance, it was almost like a Ministry of Darkness / Brood type of
Yeah,
entrance. He's got the purple lights from the Undertaker. He's like, "Hey, you're not using them, right? Okay, cool." And he's got them, and the entrance was amazing at
mm-hmm.
WrestleMania with the fire and everything. I was like, "Oh yeah." And I love the entrance music now. It's Alter Bridge still. I love that song. I love the mood it sets. And then he's got Damian Priest at his side now, right?
Yeah.
That to me, I mean, they're missing one or two people,
Yeah, they're
but
gonna add. They're gonna add some more. I think he's about to form a whole faction or something like
yeah,
that.
I would
So
love to see throw Tommaso Ciampa in there. Don't put him up because he's leaving. Don't I mean he's leaving NXT. Don't put him in the main roster with just anybody. Just throw him to Edge. They'll do something with them.
yeah,
you know.
man, I didn't know that was still Alter Bridge, but I love. Once I first heard it, I was like, "Ooh, this is good. I love it. I love it."
Oh yeah, man.
And the fact,
I didn't realize I was an Alter Bridge fan.
yeah,
But Brad, I listened to that song and I'm like, there was some riffs that they were hitting in the guitar licks. I'm like, oh
look at
yeah.
look at I didn't know I was a fan to a lot of the music WWE playing. I'm like, I like that. I like that.
hmm
I like that. But with him with Damian Priest, I think that's gonna be dope. Because I
Oh
said to
yeah.
myself for some reason, yeah, he wrestled night two, and I said to myself, I was like, wow, the Intercontinental title wasn't on the line, the United States title wasn't on the line, and even though Ricochet performed that Friday night and gave him his sort of WrestleMania moment, I was like, well, last year prior, Damian Priest had this big matchup where he teamed with Bad Bunny and he took on The Miz and John Morrison. And I said to myself,
Right.
well, who won in that situation? Well, it looked like Miz won in that situation because John Morrison is no longer here. Bad Bunny's on tour, and John Morrison no longer here. Miz is got another WrestleMania match. Bad Bunny's on tour, and Damian Priest is nowhere to be found at WrestleMania. So I was like, man, like what a year of difference, come about, and Edge match happened, and Damian Priest comes out. So I'm real proud of him. I hope something big come after it. So
I do
hey,
too, man. And now the one thing that I'm hearing a lot of people talk about is, oh, this is like Malachi Black's faction over there on AEW. I would have loved to have seen Malachi Black in Edge's setup. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be the same type of thing. I mean, you're talking about Edge here. So, it's definitely gonna be some creativity going on with that. So, there'll be some distinct differences. I know that much.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're definitely right. Hey, yo, man, this was a dope time chopping it up with you, my guy Gator Live here on the podcast. We haven't chopped it up in a while, man, for real. What's your plans next week, man? I wanna extend an offer, man, for you to come back next week because I got the commission here on the podcast, man. That's only if you down, but yo,
Oh
man.
yeah, man. I'm
Okay.
definitely down. Hey, especially when I can get a pre-invite. Hey, look, I'm I'm
Okay.
down for it, man.
Okay, man, we're gonna make that happen. You guys, you heard it here. Because next
Oh
week the
yeah.
commission will be back here on the podcast, Warren Marlowe and Blackheart, and we're gonna have Gator Live, man, joining us here, man. So
You
that's gonna be dope, man. We're gonna top it up more on wrestling, man. This was a fun conversation. I love topping it up with you, my guy. Before you go, any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say, man, and just throw dope discussions live
Oh
out
yeah.
there when they can
Oh
catch
yeah.
you.
First of all, shout outs to the virtual congregation. Everybody out there, the Dope Discussions family, man. Shout out to Eric and shout out to all our folks out there, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in every Sunday at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. We chop it up about relationships. We chop it up about, mental health and all types of ratchetry, all kinds of things, man. It's always a fun time whenever you tune in, and hey, you might learn something while you're on there too. You can always hit me at my social medias, man. Gator Live _ down 5. We're doing some things there, man. And I got something else in the works now, so that IG may be changing soon. So hey, look, it's got some stuff cooking, man. I'm excited. I'm excited
Okay.
about it.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. All the links will be down below, you guys, so you can
Oh
get
yeah.
at my guy Gator Live, man. This is gonna be dope. He will be back here next week on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. So we're gonna have some fun, man. We're gonna keep having some fun. Oh man, this
Oh
was
yeah.
a dope show. Thank everyone for tuning in this week here on Talk Pro Wrestling, man. For real. Man, before we head on out of here, Gator, we're gonna chop it up in just a few. But for everyone, man, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast, like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. And once again, subscribe to the 1130 podcast if you haven't done so already on YouTube. And make sure you follow the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts is at. For real, the links
Yeah.
will be down below. It's a great show, you guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, enjoy you guys' weekend. All new episode of the 1130 podcast coming this Wednesday. I'll see you guys next week here with my guy Gator Live and the commission. This was dope, man, for real. Yo, from Gator Live, myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
Peace out.